welcome back to the Waxing Table podcast. I'm Michaela, licensed esthetician, and I'm so glad that you are joining me on this special episode. Happy New Year, everybody! It's officially 2024, and um, it's crazy. Like last year went by so fast. Now that I'm over here on this other side, but it was such a great year for me. I had a great year. I've had a lot of things that I learned, a lot of new experiences that I have gone through. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for everything and all of the connections that I've made and all of my amazing clients and how much they have just supported me through this whole journey, and you as well, my online audience, my podcast listeners. I appreciate you guys so, so much. You guys have truly shown me nothing but love, and I'm so grateful. So it's officially 2024, which means it is a fresh start. Okay, it's time to revamp, revisit, reset, and execute some of those goals that you have been having written down on your calendar or on your notepad for so long. It is the year. 2024 is the year that we will get things done, okay? So what are some things that you are incorporating in your business or in your lifestyle for this year? What are some goals that you have that you really want to execute this year? For me, I started brow lamination last year, and so this year I'm really wanting to perfect that and just keep practicing. And the new thing that I'm going to do, you guys, I'm only announcing it on here. I haven't officially announced it yet. As far as services go, I'm going to start offering bikini treatments. I'm so excited for that one. That one's been something that I've been kind of going back and forth about. But a lot of my clients, I'm starting to really see the need for it. So bikini treatments are underway for this year. And also, another goal of mine that I have is to do at least two Dallas pop ups, at least two of them. So you heard it here first. When y'all see that happening, send me a shout out, because honestly, doing pop-ups are they were really hard. But I think I really want to push myself and just kind of see what it's like again and kind of revamp a little bit on how I am going to um like my packing, things on the back end, booking and things like that. It was like a trial and error that I had to figure out. But yeah, those are three, I guess, of my goals for this year. And I would love to hear from you. What are some goals that you have, whether it's personal, whether it's, family, whether it is business, whatever it is, let me know. And I would love to hear from you. Whatever those goals are, I know you're going to kill it. Okay. I know you're gonna crush it. Work hard. Don't give up. Always ask for help and just keep going. So as we are entering into this new year, let's normalize luxury waxing. Okay, let's normalize luxury and quality beauty services. I am so excited to share with you guys my number one choice and my number one pick as far as waxing goes. So I've tried so many different waxes, and I am so happy that I found Nova Wax. Nova Wax has changed the way I wax. Truly, it has cut my time in half, you guys. It has been the best luxury quality wax that I have gotten the chance to use for the past 3 years. So I'm gonna be sharing with y'all my loves, the reason why I chose it, and even some ingredient knowledge as well for my skincare and ingredient knowledge people. So let's get into it. So the wax that you use can literally make or break your business. And although technique is very important, and the waxer behind the wax is also plays a part in it as well, experience, techniques, and things like that. But the wax you use it carries so much weight, and for a few reasons. So as a body waxer, it is imperative that you have a good quality wax that you can rely on. especially doing large services. Brazilians are number one. Or, if you're waxing men's backs or chests or even arms, having a wax that you can count on is can really make or break your business. This is why I choose Nova Wax 100% of the time. So I first learned about Nova Wax actually from a fellow waxer. This was maybe like 2019, probably. So a year after I got licensed. Um, Later, like probably like fall 2019 or something like that. Yeah, I first learned about it. I learned about Nova Wax through um, a fellow waxer. And so I decided to go ahead and follow Liz, the creator of Nova Wax, on Instagram. And I really enjoyed watching her videos. And when you're a waxer and when you're, learning and you're passionate about waxing, it's so important that you watch other waxers that you aspire to wax like, or that just to learn, because you can learn a lot visually just by seeing something over and over again. So that's what I did when I was following Liz. I was just watching her videos, and she was doing these massive strips at the time. And I was like, wow, looks like a really cool, like creamy wax, and it's getting all the hairs. So I loved that Nova Wax is esthetician approved. It's esthetician made. And that's how that's one of the things that I look for when I'm looking at a wax. Like, who made the wax? Is there an esthetician who made it, or is it just being sent, in a factory and random people are making it? I really value when there is a waxing company or just a brand who, like in this industry, it's esthetician owned and it's esthetician created, because there's just something about that personal touch that they know from experience what works and what doesn't. So that's a really big deal. The moment I started using Nova Wax, I completely noticed the difference like right away. So I didn't use it until 2 years after I started following her. So once I made that investment, I used it on myself, of course, and I immediately noticed the difference in how it feels. It felt very, you're waxing the body, so it's not going to be 100% pain free, but it most definitely eased my waxing experience, and I felt way more comfortable. And so I went ahead and tried it on my clients, and they spoke loud. Okay. They were really thankful that I was trying a new wax and that the results from it were the same, but their comfort level was a lot easier. The comfort level was they were just way more comfortable, and the experience as a whole was just elevated just by wax. Can you believe that? So, yeah, I never looked back, you guys. Literally, I started using Nova Wax 3 years ago, and that's the wax that I used, and I'm sold on it for multiple reasons. So, when it comes to the formulation of Nova Wax, there are a few key points that are important. Number one, it is PETA certified. So that means they don't test it on animals at all. So that's a yay. Another key ingredient is that it's rosin free. Rosin free is a really big deal in the waxing space, because a lot of, wax formulations include rosin. And although rosin is derived from pine trees and it's all natural, a lot of people who have sensitivities or allergies typically are allergic to rosin or things like in nature. So Novavax has a synthetic rosin in the formulation that is used in place of that. Also, another key factor in the formulation is that there are no artificial dyes and no artificial colors or anything like that. So nothing fake, you guys. The natural color, the shimmery kind of like silvery hue, comes from mica powder. So you're not going to find any plastics or any fake ingredients in the formulation process. Okay, so the next key ingredient in the formulation process is titanium dioxide and tin oxide. This is going to help kind of balance out that silvery color that Nova has. It's also going to help soothe your skin and prevent any irritation, as well as act as that thickening agent, that gives you that silky, smoothie consistency application that NovaWax has. Another key ingredient is the beeswax. Beeswax is probably the only ingredient in this formulation that technically doesn't make it vegan because it is an animal byproduct. The beeswax is known to help soften and soothe the skin and to help relieve any irritation that happens after waxing. The final ingredient that I'm going to touch on is mineral oil. Now, this is a touchy subject in the esthetician community. However, it is very beneficial in wax formulas. It does not clog the pores because it does not seep into the skin. It's in the wax, so once you apply the wax and then you remove it, it's gone. So there's no room for the oil to get clogged or anything. This is going to help soothe the skin after getting waxed, and it's also going to help prevent any oversensitivity as well. Okay, so now that we've touched on a little bit of the formulation, I am going to kind of break down a little bit and give you some key points that might make a little bit more sense. So for me, the reason that I have stuck with Nova Wax for such a long time is number one, it dries quick, y'all. It dries fast. Now, I have tried several waxes, and the drying time on Nova Wax is unmatched. It's unmatched. When I tell you you can do a Brazilian, whatever time frame you are on your Brazilian waxes, and maybe you are a little bit longer than what you think that you want to aim for in the long run. Or maybe your times are 30 minutes, maybe your times are 20 minutes. If you start using Nova Wax, your time could be cut in half because of the drying time of this wax. I tried a recent wax before I even, started this season, and I had to go back at the end of the day to Nova Wax because of that drying time factor. The drying time factor can really speed up your waxing process, literally. When I tell you guys, as soon as I apply the wax, as pliable as it is ready to be removed right after that. So you just have to try it for yourself at this point. NovaWax is very efficient. It will get the job done, and it works well on all hair types. It works well on coarse hair, super thick, super curly hair. It works on very fine hairs. I love it for facial waxing because it really grabs fine hairs so well. And it's my number one go-to. It's very efficient. It's not going to disappoint you. When you're using this wax, you know what you're going to get. Like, I know what I'm going to get when I am using this wax every single time, and it doesn't disappoint. Another key factor is that it's very low temperature. So that means when you start to melt your wax in the waxing pot, it is going to heat up very quickly. And I remember, y'all, I remember I had a client and I was late coming into work. I still got there before she did, but it was just late for me. I didn't have quite enough time to like get set up, and then I have to turn my wax pot on. When I tell y'all, like, I forgot to turn on my wax pot and my client was literally waiting for me, I was like, wow, I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. Um, so I turned on the wax, and within 10 minutes, it was ready to go. So, granted, I did have to like I had to delay her appointment a little bit, but the wax heated up very fast, and I was able to get the consistency that I needed within 10 minutes. So it was incredible. Another key factor is that it's pliable and it's stretchy. When I was looking into waxes, I was looking for a wax that would spread really well over large areas without becoming too dried out very quickly. Legs, for example. When you're waxing legs are typically drier. So you want a wax that, works well without cracking from being on the skin for too long. And I love that this wax is very pliable, and then when you remove it, it's still stretchy, and it still has a little bit of, the elasticy feel. So it's not going to be like overly like basically overly hard whenever you remove the wax. Another key factor is that it's very gentle on the skin. It doesn't stick to the skin at all, and it grabs those hairs that are thick, but it also doesn't irritate the skin. So it goes back into that low temperature aspect of it. I can apply the wax at a very um semi like low temperature, and it doesn't burn my client. I will say that it does take some getting used to. So when you're using Nova Wax, I would encourage you to play around with it for a little bit. Follow Liz, follow myself on Instagram so that you can really see the technique and see, how the wax is being used. Because it will really help. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to and to kind of learn the wax, but once you do, it is a game changer. Okay? It's a game changer. And we are changing games in 2024. Okay? We're elevating our services, our businesses, and we are here. 2024 is not ready for us. Okay? Okay, so as we wrap up this conversation today, I hope that you found this information helpful. I've been using Nova Wax way before our partnership, and I will forever be a stan. I love Nova. So as you try other waxes, I encourage you to allow Nova to be in that pool that you try. And, don't just take my word for it. Do your research as well. You can visit novawax.com, and they have all of their ingredient knowledge on there as well. Um, and follow Liz, follow myself, follow Nova Wax on Instagram and on TikTok, so that you can start, really seeing how the wax is performed and how it's used. Liz does so many educational videos as well on there. So make a decision for yourself, and I hope that you decide to try Nova. And when you do decide to try Nova, use my code, TheWaxingEsthetician. On your first order, you're going to get 15% off. And this code is always valid on your first order. Okay. All right, guys. So that's it for this episode of the Waxing Table Podcast. Happy New Year once again. And cheers to luxury waxing services in 2024.